Okay.
EldoRADIO? Oh my goodness, isn't that clever? Are we going to have a radio station? Yeah, we already have one.
You're listening to EldoRADIO.
Hey everybody.
Welcome to another episode of Everyday EldoRADIO. I'm your host, Deanna Bonn, and I'm here to share my perspective on the fine art of living well every day in EldoRADIO. Butler County is filled with stories about people, places, and events. One ambitious group is dedicated to telling these stories, EldoRADIO. EldoRADIO is a recently formed coalition of leaders from area museums, education, business, and government. In cooperation with Butler Community College's radio station, 88.1 The Grizz, EldoRADIO will produce audio programming about the community for broadcast with web distribution. According to General Manager Keith West, Butler's radio station has the ability to reach the entire county. In addition to our educational mission, we are very excited to serve the community with programming special to Butler. EldoRADIO plans to produce a number of podcasts and interviews to be aired from 11 a.m. to noon on Wednesdays on 88.1 FM.
Are we going to have a radio station? Yeah, we already have one.
You're listening to EldoRADIO. I recently sat down with David Alfaro, Director of Community Development for Butler County, to speak with him regarding the status of the IPS cleanup following the revocation of the conditional use permit as issued by the Butler County Board of Commissioners last August.
Hey, David Alfaro, I'm the Director of Community Development for Butler County. October the 1st, the first Tuesday of this month, the Board of County Commissioners met with Mr. Riley, inquiring of the cleanup status. He stated that he was still in the process, even though he had committed to being off the property by October 1. And so there was some minor discussion about where he's at, and the commissioners came to the realization that enough is enough. And so a motion was made to actually direct a cease and desist order effective November the 5th, and if he is not cleaned the property to the status where we want it to be, then we'll shut him down.
So that brings up a couple of questions in my mind. The first is, why will it need to take at least a month from the time that it was decided to have a cease and desist for when it'll go into effect?
That was the way the motion was. Commissioner Wajcik made a motion to basically, if it's not completed by November the 5th, that is when the order will begin. So he actually gave him an additional 30 days, which, as we all know, given the condition of the property, it's not going to happen.
Try not to be negative, but it hasn't happened this long.
Right.
And how long has he been working towards cleaning it up? Because we'll just start with, how long is he supposed to have been cleaning it up?
Oh gosh, I would say, without having the file in front of me, probably 2 years.
So I know I started covering this case a little over a year ago.
Okay.
And he was already kind of on a timeline, and he was asking for extensions at that point. And that is, I believe it was the end of August, maybe around the 29th. I'd have to check my calendar, in which the commissioners said it needed to be cleaned up or else. Right. And then he keep coming back I would have checked my notes to find out. So that was a little over a year ago.
Right.
That the final, we're not going to. So I guess my next thought is, a lot of extensions have been granted. Mm-hmm. Is there something you could speak to, maybe why?
I think the biggest thing is the expense to the citizens of Butler County. We've given Mr. Riley opportunity after opportunity to remove everything, because if he does not, then we, as a governing body, are going to have to take the initiative to clean it ourselves. With that being said, we don't have the legal means nor the statutory right to then put a lien against the property owner, Mr. Smith. So it's an expense that we will either have to eat or somehow come up with a means to legally get that money back. So we figured, when I say we, myself as staff included, with the county commissioner, decided it was in the best interest to give him an opportunity at his expense to clean it up versus us spending the money to do it.
It's a very generous.
Correct.
And I know you said so that the county doesn't have to pay that, but the county has extended some options for him, even at his own expense, to pay for the waste disposal.
Oh yeah, there's been. I mean, we reduced the landfill fees to allow him, the financial ability to continue to take it there and get rid of it. So I mean, we've worked with him not only with the time, but also the fees associated with the cleanup.
And is there a way that you were able to track how much he's actually taken, how much he's actually paid in fees?
Yeah, well, yes. We get a report. Either we could do it daily, weekly, monthly, but the Public Works, they do have the ability to track that as far as the fees associated with each load, as well as the tonnage that's been brought up as well.
And I know one of his complaints for not getting it done sooner maybe was the weather. He was hampered for the weather, so.
And I think that's, again, a part of the reason why the commissioners have worked with him on it, giving him that extension, because, this year I think is probably wetter than last year. It doesn't make it right that he wasn't more aggressive in cleaning it up last year and the year before, but they have made some concessions again, and which they felt was in the best interest of the county, and us as constituents here as well. So, but I think they've realized that it's gone on long enough, and November the 5th, I'm very confident in saying that he's done.
So on that day, then, will a cease and desist order be filed with is it with the sheriff?
It actually is I think it has actually been approved and submitted to through our legal counsel to the through district court. But I had to follow up on that. But the legal right to do that is then issued that day, and then I'm assuming then I don't know if it was not a warrant. I don't think it'd be a subpoena. It'd be some document that will be delivered to Mr. Riley, and then he'll have to vacate the property immediately.
And leave whatever he still has there.
That is correct.
So I have reached out to Mr. Riley and offered to let him speak with me and share his side of that, and he is, hasn't taken that opportunity to do so. So I just, from an outsider's perspective, not having, and I wouldn't say I'm an outsider necessarily. I'm a Butler County tax-paying citizen.
Bingo.
But still, from kind of taking an objective point of view, it appears as though he was just interested in continuing his business operations, making a mess, basically. I see that behavior, that he's just waiting for mom or dad to come in and clean up his mess. And so that's been my observation, my opinion only, but that is what it looks like. But I know he had said he has another location?
Yes, he's got a location in Oklahoma, where I don't know, that I understand is actually in operations now, has machinery down there. So I don't know if he's just taking the valuable products and relocating them and leaving the trash behind, or what his thoughts are, or what he's doing right now.
And is there any kind of movement or activity out there to know whether or not he actually has staff working?
There are vehicles out there. I have, and I mean, I've seen that the property is getting cleaned up, but it's baby steps, not to the degree that the county has ordered him to do. And so, I mean, it's very obvious if you drive out by there that some of the stuff that was there years ago is still there, and he has not taken any interest in removing it.
Sure. So I know you had said that this would be a county issue to clean it up, but actually it's private property. Is that correct? Correct.
Again, we don't have the means to go through the condemnation process to where we could go out there and clean it. We could address it as possibly a nuisance case, which it still wouldn't give us the legal means to go out and remove this stuff and put it on the tax rolls or as a lien to Mr. Smith. But it does give us the authority to have our legal counsel address Mr. Smith and tell him he needs to appear before a judge in district court. The judge can then order a fine for each day that the nuisance exists, and then order him to clean it up. So we think we have a legal means, but we're not real sure.
So in the big picture of things, Mr. Riley just scoots out of town, starts his other business, leaves the mess, is leaving the mess to be cleaned up by the property owner, Mr. Smith, and or eventually the taxpayers of Butler County.
Yes, and not knowing what the contract is between the owner and the tenant, it's possible there might be a legal means for him to file against Mr. Riley for those expenses as well. I don't know.
Sure.
Haven't seen a rental agreement, so who knows what it says.
IPS has vacated the property and has relocated its operations. This leaves the cleanup of the property to the property's owner, with the potential for costs to be absorbed by Butler County taxpayers.
IPS? Yeah, I was out there last Thursday, and it appeared to me that they've basically walked away from the property.
Shocker.
Yeah, I know. There has been some improvements made, but again, this stuff is just strewn all across the property. There's a couple of vacant cars. I would almost consider abandoned vehicles right up front. Doors are open, no activity.
But all the trailers are still there, though, aren't they?
Oh, yes.
Well, hell, I bet you 80% of them weren't street worthy anyway, from what I could see.
But it's going nowhere fast, obviously.
There's still quite a bit of work to be done at the IPS property. We will definitely bring you updates as they happen. The Board of Butler County Commissioners hosted their annual Government Day on October 15th, 2019. Chairman Mark Murphy spoke with the students at the beginning of the day's events.
In Butler County, we've got Commissioner Mark Murphy here today to welcome you to Government Day. When he is done speaking, please give him your attention, please. When he is done speaking, wait a moment. I'm going to give some final instructions and then we'll set out.
Hello guys, my name is Mark Murphy. I'm the chairman of Butler County Commission. I'd like to welcome you all to Butler County Courthouse, home of the seat of government for the state's largest county geographically. It is here at the courthouse we serve the citizens of Butler County on issues ranging from health care to road maintenance. Today you're going to see and hear many of the services we provide to the citizens of Butler County. We're responsible for many emergency services, including EMS, the sheriff, and emergency management. We also collect and distribute all the property and vehicle taxes in the county. Your schools count on the county to make sure we distribute the taxes levied by your school district board as to the cities and townships in which you live. With the exception of your municipal courts that count the cities throughout Butler County, all trials related to criminal and civil matters that occur in the county take place at a new judicial building that you will tour during your visit. Hope you enjoy the visit to the courthouse, the judicial building, and the county detention facility. As seniors in high school, it is important for you to understand the important role county government plays in your life. Soon you'll be using many of the services that the county provides, and you'll be paying for them. It's important for you to understand the various functions of the county and know who your elected officials are and who are responsible for the services you pay for. I hope someday you will consider running for elected office at the county level and hope make the difference in the Butler County future. As I speak from personal experience, when I say that serving as an elected official is hard work and requires me to make tough decisions, it is very rewarding to be part of the planning for the Butler County's future of the 21st century. Hope you have a good time. Ask questions along the way. Remember, we are here to help and serve you any way we can. Have a good time.
Thank you very much.
No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
So that's it for me here on Everyday EldoRADIO, but keep an eye out and an ear open for your source of information on the fine art of living well every day in EldoRADIO. Have a great day.
No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
Oh, EldoRADIO? Oh my goodness, isn't that clever? Are we going to have a radio station? Yeah, we already have one.
You're listening to EldoRADIO.